WILK Radio.
WILK Radio.
We're the only radio station that turns you on. Basketball sports fans, you're tuned in to the Bobby Wilkerson and Ken Benson Talk Basketball Radio Network. Here are your hosts, Bobby and Ken. Come hear IU legends Bobby Wilkerson and Ken Benson of the historical 1976 NCAA Championship undefeated basketball team, coached by the unforgettable Bob Knight. You will hear for the first time an accounting of the good, bad, and ugly, pain, deceit, and robbery they experienced over the last 40 years.
Today, we welcome a pair of hoop legends who helped make history over 4 decades ago. The most famous of the 50 Indiana University men's basketball teams was the 1975-76 squad. Coached by Hall of Famer Bobby Knight, the Hoosiers went 32-0 and captured the program's 3rd national championship. That team featured Bobby Wilkerson. He averaged 7.8 points per game and a shade over 4 rebounds that season. IU won 34 straight games during Wilkerson's tenure and was 36-1 overall during his time in Bloomington. Another standout on that squad was Ken Benson. His tip-in against Michigan midway through the season helped Indiana preserve their perfect record. The Hoosiers went on to knock off the Wolverines in overtime before embarking on their historic run in the NCAAs.
Well, for me, the message would be, get it right. Just get it right. Because when you sign a scholarship for Indiana University, Indy College, 4 years, renewable every year. It didn't say for a lifetime. They have no rights for a lifetime for a player. And so that makes no sense. But the coaches get millions and millions of dollars, and they get sponsors, they get all that. But the players, we're the ones who suffer. And for us, it's been such a long time to see the university make billions and billions of dollars on our names. Right. It makes no sense, and they can't say, I never signed a lifetime contract with them, and I can't use their name for a lifetime. So,
right.
It makes it's just not fair. And this the NCAA saying they make all these dumb rules and it affects the players. It don't affect the coaches. Mm-hmm. It affects, and who benefits? The university. So it's just not fair, and it's time for change. I think every athlete, every student in America should stand up because it affected so many. We ain't talking about the ones they kicked off the team and messed up their family and their parents. They didn't have the money to send them back to school.
Wow.
So it's devastating.
Your 76 team is widely regarded as the greatest ever, but the fans view you almost as superhuman. So what I want to do is I'm going to name 4 names, and I want you to tell the fans and tell me what that particular person brought to the basketball team. Bobby Wilkerson.
The best athlete on the team, and it wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
6'7", rangy. And I'll give you a story about Bobby Wilkerson.
Mm-hmm.
Scott and I were talking about this just 2 weeks ago. We were in front of McNutt doing, how you sit out in front of McNutt. For people who haven't been there, they don't know. But, it's just like it's an area where you can sit in lawn chairs or whatever. And literally, Bobby Wilkerson and a guy named Mike McFarland, I believe is his name, got into this discussion about who was fast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bobby's 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
Mike McFarland was the indoor 60, they called it at that time, yard champion, indoor. And Bobby said, I could beat you. Now, Bobby used to run distances all the time. He's rangy. They ran, and Bobby ran into a dead heat in gym shoes.
Wow.
That's 6'7" versus a guy that was about 5'9". That when I'm talking about an athlete, Bobby Wilkerson. The other thing from a basketball standpoint, as we started to lose control of the story I was telling you about Alabama,
mm-hmm.
where Leon Douglas got away from us and started to do something, and he was quick enough to put it on the floor, Bobby guarded it.
Right.
And Bobby and I were guards. And Bobby would guard the best guard on the team to turn me loose because I was one that I knew how the game worked,
right.
knew where the ball probably was going. So it turned me loose to do that. So he'd got a guard, in that game, and he did it in Alabama. I think T.R. Dunn was one of the guys. He guarded him. Then he guarded Leon Douglas. That's who Bobby Wilkerson is.
Wow.
He's very quiet, but he was very impactful on our team.
I remember Coach Knight telling us he was the best athlete he coached.
The really important things in the ball game for us was Bobby Wilkerson rebounding. From the very beginning to the very end of the ball game, Bobby played the boards, I thought, better than anybody in the game.
That's for sure. Watch number 20 closely as he soars, pulling down rebound after rebound with those long arms. Against UCLA, Wilkerson dominated the boards. He got 11 rebounds in the first half, finished the game with a high of 19. Equally as powerful and effective on both the offensive and defensive boards. Here, Wilkerson misses a shot, battles for the rebound, and then scores. He's fouled. And that just about clinches it.
I've seen a lot of players come through IU, football, basketball, but I think, in my opinion, he's the greatest athlete that's ever played at IU.
Two guys in the starting lineup, Bobby Wilkerson and Quinn Buckner, averaged under 10 points a game. They sacrificed what they may have liked to have done in scoring lots of points and being more of a higher profile, scorer, which everybody seems to like, to help our team become a better team.
Thanks largely to the tenacious defense and clutch scoring of Bobby Wilkerson.
Well, it pissed me off. I'm just going to be honest. Because the documentary, they never contacted me.
Right.
I never signed anything, but yet they still did their story and put me in there and used my photos, my images. IU is part of that problem. And so, yeah, I'm pissed because they're making money, the university making money, Showtime's making money, and they're using it on us. And then they put me in there and say, okay, he's part of this. I never signed a contract with Showtime.
Right.
I'm never trying to, my teammates might have, but they were, not Kent, but the rest of them, they signed, and they made money, whatever that is. But for them not to even the arrogance of Indiana University, the arrogance of Showtime, and the arrogance of Quinn Buckner, my teammate who was chairman of the board for the university, is pathetic. The whole thing is pathetic. And I'm still pissed off because it makes no sense and they're not fair.
Yeah. And just to make sure everyone has the background of it, you're saying that you all have actually reached out to Indiana, right? To just say, hey, look, we're still here. You guys are benefiting off the name, image, and likeness, but you're looking at your pockets and not saying anything in your own pockets. And so you're saying so far you have yet to receive any type of response, right?
Right.
Wow. And not even acknowledging, again, 2 star players, folks, that played for the university, helping to bring a championship to the university. And to Kent's point, once again, a record that right now is still unbeaten. And Kent and Bobby, I'm just curious, do you think we'll ever see that broken, seeing a team go undefeated and go on to win the championship? Let's say it's been 46 years. Do you think that happens in another 46 years? Yeah, it's tough. Like you said, and I think, now we're saying, I think people have been calling for this for a long time, but like you said, these colleges and universities, folks, are making millions. The athletics department at so many of these, especially D1 schools, they're driving so much of the money and income. If you're watching the news, you see these coaches are making millions of dollars, but yet athletes like Kent and Bobby leaving their blood, sweat, and tears on the ground, sacrificing for their universities, away from home, trying to get wins for the university to be able to boost up that championship trophy. And so, Kent, same question for you. If you could send a message now to Indiana, to the NCAA, as someone who was a collegiate athlete, a top collegiate athlete at that, what would your message be?
Well, to Bobby's point and to your point, we as the undefeated national championship team, the last undefeated national championship team 46 years ago, the university has made, millions and millions of dollars off our names, our images, and our likenesses, because when March Madness comes around, who do they talk about? They talk about the 1975-76 Indiana University undefeated national championship team. And so, when we've reached out and inquired to the university, a great starting point would be a response from IU, first and foremost, and then we can talk about what it is we want and need.
Time for freshmen, no matter what school they're in, what university. It's very difficult.
Yeah, like I said, you're removed from home, right? You don't have your family right there to lean on.
Yeah.
You're not able to get money. Like, and you guys are
Yeah.
big guys. Y'all aren't the smallest people in the world. You get hungry, right? At night, and you're not able
Yeah.
to do anything. That's tough. And I think, again, a lot of times the student athlete life is kind of glamorized more than what it is. You guys have lived that life. And so Ken, I'll also allow you to chime in on this, on just your thoughts on, take me back to that, playing at Indiana, not being able to make money off your name, even though you guys were great collegiate basketball players, but seeing your coaches benefit, and we're still seeing.
We know how to slay a giant. That's for sure. Because we went to IU. We're from Indiana. We grew up in Indiana.
Right. That's the hometown.
And that disrespect that they're giving us, no, I gather the whole nation together. If I got to walk and get everybody one by one, because this has got to change. It's time. This is not going any further than this year.
Yeah. And Ken, I want you to just talk about this. I mean, I know you guys obviously have emotions. This is why we're here on this show talking about this. And I want this to be a platform where you can express that, because I want to make sure that everybody listening to this show now understands what's exactly happening. So documentaries made, dollars going into everybody else's pocket, but not your own. And as Bobby mentioned, even some of your teammates making money, but Kent and Bobby right here have not received $1, folks, $1 from their own story being told. So Ken, I mean, just all the frustration, I'm sure, over the years has just probably gotten to a boiling point.
Well, I'm in total agreement with Bobby. And let me take it to another level. Bobby and I, several years ago, formed the 32-0 Undefeated National Champions Foundation. And our whole idea was to raise money and revenues to give to charitable organizations. Okay. We put together literally hundreds of different items and memorabilia of our team. Okay. The successful team that we had. And we presented it to Indiana University, to the licensing, saying that in order for us to be able to put that online in our shop for people to purchase those items, we had to pay a licensing fee, not for the bulk, but for every item that we were going to put on the online shop. That's ridiculous. I mean, they wanted us to pay for our own names, images, and likenesses, and that's absurd.
Do you remember?
Yeah, I wasn't happy, and I was totally surprised. And I think Bobby remembers. We just looked at each other in disbelief, and we got up from the table and walked away.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't anything we could say. It was just, we were shocked, number one, because what we were doing was for charitable causes, and we were promoting our own team and our images and our likenesses, and through the memorabilia that we had accumulated and wanted to sell online. And I still, to this day, and it's been several years that we formed that foundation. It still amazes me that that actually happened.
Yeah. I mean, doing it for charity, and yet again, it's your name, image, and likeness. And I think this is what people kind of have to learn as we're continuing to have these conversations about the NIL. And again, these are two folks of the best players to come out of Indiana. I know in our preliminary conversation, Bobby, I mean, we even talked about, when you took that elbow to the head, laid unconscious on the floor for 7 minutes. This is something that you did for your university. And yet they turn around and tell you now that you have to get permission to make money for your name, image, and likeness. And so, when you look back at all that you did, for that Indiana University program, and especially for the young folks out there, Bobby, who are just, being born and obviously didn't get to see you and Kent play. Like, let's just talk about the legacy that you left there and why it's so important for them to not only pay you all, but to just to recognize what you all have contributed to their overall legacy.
Well, first of all, they have no respect for the players. And I'll give you an example. When I got knocked out in the championship game, nobody was there with me. I was in the hospital 3 days. Team left, went back. Coach Knight left. Nobody called my mom. Luckily, my brother was at the game. He was able to call home, but they left and flew back. When I finally got out the hospital, I just went to Anderson. I didn't feel like I was part of a championship.
Wow.
The disrespect of the whole university. No one, not the president, not the athletic director, no one called my parents. They didn't come see about me. I'm up there by myself. And so, yeah, they talk about this is a family, this is a team. You know, they don't care about that. They ain't no family. They ain't no family of mine. This is a team. You know, they don't care about that. They ain't no family. They ain't no family of mine.
Wow.
My mother was hurt till she died. She was hurt. No one called her son laying on the floor.
And that one phone call home, and you went back to Anderson, where you're from. And like, again, I went back to that brotherhood question. So you're thinking you have this brotherhood, right? That everyone has each other's back. You get unconscious, folks, in a basketball game, having to go to the hospital. And I think about how scary it is now when we see a player come down, and not to at least even get a phone call. I know that has to hurt. I'm sure till this day it probably hurts, Bobby.
And it's been hurting for years. And the fact that the coach, he wanted what he wanted. He made after that. And then they had the nerve after 1976, make all this money, billions and billions, and talk about, I don't need a dinner. I don't need a job. I need compensation.
Right. Yeah. And I know you guys have been calling for this to change for a while now, right? And you guys have been saying, like, come on, like, it's more than time. And so now, again, that I have you in the spotlight, and this is what we do on the show. We bring light to problems and issues and challenges that need that attention. So, you know, if you guys could just have a message right now for the NCAA, for Indiana University, what would it be?
Well, first and foremost, I already stated a great start would be IU responding to our inquiries. That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about and discuss what it is what we want. You know, let me just share with you this. In 1976, during the season, the start of the Big Ten season at Illinois, I go up for a layup, and one of the Illinois players undercut me, and I fall all my weight on my left wrist. I absolutely destroyed my whole left wrist, broken bones, torn ligaments, and what have you. I chose to play, not miss a game. I may have missed a couple of practice right at the beginning, but I practiced, I played all the way through the championship with basically one hand. Over the years, after playing in the NBA, coming home, I started developing problems with my left hand, okay, my left hand and wrist. And I reached out to Indiana University. At the time, I didn't have insurance, and I reached out to the athletic director and asked him for some assistance in getting my wrist looked at, taken care of. And he just said, "I'm sorry, we don't do those things."
Wow.
And I injured it during the season,
right?
And continue to play so we could, because I knew that we could win the national championship, and it was important that I be a part of that team.
And I think that's why I wanted to go back to these points, because I think people don't, again, realize the sacrifice the student athletes make, because it's all for the team, right? The whole time your coaches are telling you it's for the team, it's for the betterment of the university, and you're part of that puzzle. And so you're giving it your all, mentally, physically, spiritually. And yet when something happens to you and you ask something simple that you think it would be point blank period, yes, we'll come back and help you, they don't. And that has to hurt when you're part of a university that you gave so much to. So as people on this show are listening to this show, you know, what's the thing that you want for them to take and resonate from? How can they help your guys' cause to make sure that you get the proper compensation for all of your stories being told? How can the listening audience help with that? And I'll start with you, Bob.
Well, see, it's more than just family. It's family, it's friends, it's fans, it's the Hoosier Nation. People who are basketball fans, not just Indiana basketball fans.
Yeah.
It's people, you know, like Bobby said, athletes, not just basketball players, but college athletes. So there's a whole plethora of people that are tuned into what we're talking about here and understand what's going on, because it's finally being brought to light.
Right. It's finally being brought to light. I want to go to a question that we have from the audience from Chenier Fontino, and apologies if I messed up your name. But at this point in time, does Quinn Buckner have a duty to fulfill now that he is on the board of directors? I know you all touched on this, but I want to make sure we get a clear answer that we're getting from our listening audience. And I'll let either one of you answer this question.
Okay. I think he has a duty he should perform. He should call us back because he knows the truth. See, right. we're standing on the truth. We stand because they're saying nothing tells us where they're at, but we're standing on truth, and we're going to continue because the truth will set them free. But for them, it's about the love of money, and that's not about the love of money for us. That affected our lives, and our family lives, and our friends' lives, and Hoosier Nation life. We're from Indiana, beloved in Indiana, great families. We're not perfect. But we touch a lot of lives ourselves with the camps and the kids and the speaking engagements all over the state and all over the country, representing Indiana University, our school, representing the state of Indiana where we're from, and having the character and integrity that people invite us back. People want to hear our story. How did you do that? Can you talk to my son? Can you talk to my daughter? Don't matter. It ain't about race. It ain't about religion. It's about human race. That's what it's about.
Sign our petition. Join us in our cause.